Absolutely. I am not arguing that. But the number of times people have come in, if it's going to be a weightlifting injury, more often than not, it is a deficit, dead, RDL, whatever. So that's why once your hips quit moving back, I want you to cut that range of motion off, because you fully lengthen glutes and hamstrings. Anything else is going in the low back. Your erectors are getting plenty of work, right? So I think that's really the main muscles for today to discuss. And then
we're on the same page when it comes to things like deficit. To me, it just seems like a gamble that is not necessary when you already are going to nail those target muscles anyway, without going into that range of motion that is arguably going to create a huge, huge vulnerability. So my next exercise typically will be lying, and you'll see it here, but I have a hard time explaining it because I have a hard time putting a label on it. So if you don't see it, but I explain it to you, you might be, I don't know what that is. Essentially, it looks like a lying leg lift on a bench, but it starts as a leg lift in the extension, and then it's a knee to the chest crunch. Okay. So I'm going to exaggerate the stretch. A lot of times I'll touch my heel to the floor. My glutes are, as you can see, right on the edge of the bench. And then I'm taking, and these are controlled. They're very methodical. And then from there, my next exercise will be more of a stiff leg, not completely stiff leg, but I'm not going to crunch and pull the knees into my chest. It's more of a lying leg lift. Now, I don't do hanging leg lifts, not because I don't like them, but because I don't like to hang from a bar. I like the exercise where you're resting on your forearms, and we don't have one of those at Atlantic Fitness. So for me to hang after I train back, my grip is gone. I know there are other options like the elbow sleeves. We don't have those. At the same time, I've used them before, and if you use those after you train back, your back isn't going to hold you very long.
You might only last 30 to 45 seconds the first time. You will be blown away when you actually feel your lower abs engage to do that tilt and have to stabilize. So when people go, I could do a 5-minute plank, I'm like, you could do a hip flexor plank.
Can you do it correctly? Yeah.
Yes. There will be times in office where I have to take a big, strong person and maybe go, we're aiming for just 20 seconds for this set. That's it. Like, it's brutal when you do it right. What's really cool is buddies who work at the VA hospital in Palo Alto, they're chiros there, and they know if they could get and let's just say combat vet, but if they could get a veteran who's had chronic low back pain to do a proper plank for 1 minute, the odds of him coming back in for low back pain are nil to none. It's very rare. That is a major milestone that they focus on. And oftentimes they go, here's your TRX suspension trainer, keep doing your core work. I'll probably never see you again. Like, that's how impactful it is.
Now, what if we're going to put arbitrary numbers on it to make a point? I would say that the movement at the shoulder is 80% and the movement of the hip is 20%. Do you find that to be relatively close? My point with those numbers is the movement of the hip is it's going to be subtle in comparison to the amount of movement at the shoulder.